is now.
Okay.
Hey Frank, I'll say hi while we're waiting to restart. While they're waiting to restart.
Okay, great. Good evening, everybody.
And we're getting more people now.
Yeah, who else?
How you doing, Ken?
Good, Frank. How are you?
I am reasonably well.
Reasonably
Patricia
well, I
Teason
do.
Fitz,
You look
Jeff
reasonably
Dye.
well. Good to see you.
I don't know if
Good
JPM is a JIF attorney.
Frank, how you doing?
Okay, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well as can be.
Who's Frank?
So,
Mika.
That's reasonably well.
Mika.
is that reasonably well? Gotcha. All right. I'm learning your terminologies here. We're just waiting on Rainey to join us.
Ah,
Mrs. Owen, you're on mute.
Mr. Lafferty's there.
I am here. I'm just making sure all council. I see Ms. Sparks.
Yes, we're all present.
All present. Okay. For the benefit of the public, there was an executive session to discuss certain pending litigation. There was a discussion with special counsel for the city, who I think, and Mr. Madden is still here. I don't know that Ms. Thompson is still here. In any event, it was the matter of Peter Seidelman versus the city of Estell Manor. I understand that council has reached a consensus that is embodied in resolution number 41-2021. The mayor and Mr. Dilge are unable to vote on this matter. So if one of the three remaining council members would care to move adoption of resolution 41-2021, which is approving the settlement as proposed by the Municipal Excess Liability Joint Insurance Fund. I'm assuming that actually council president is the chair of this meeting. So
Yes.
I go ahead, Ms. Owen.
Oh, I lost you. I make a motion to pass the resolution number 41-2021, authorizing the proposed settlement of the litigation entitled Peter Seidelman versus City of Estell Manor.
I second.
Who seconded that?
You need to do a roll call.
Julie.
There needs to be a roll call on this.
Are they ready? Ms. Owen,
Yes.
Ms. Sparks,
Yes.
Mr. Olson.
Yes.
And the roll should reflect that the mayor and Mr. Dilge abstained.
Okay, moving forward here now. We are honored to have Mr. Frank Formica to join us. And Frank and I have been discussing a couple of different issues that are going to have a positive impact for Estell Manor. One, we have been discussing the shared service of the port that we're looking to enter into. The second one is another LEAP grant. Randy, help me out. I'm looking here and I just lost it on my phone. What does LEAP stand for again? Or Frank, could you?
It's the local. Yeah, I don't remember what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, at any rate, it'll come to me, but nonetheless, I've been having discussion with both the solicitor, Randy Lafferty, and with Frank Formica, former chairman freeholder of Atlantic County, who has been very gracious to give me his time and make a lot of explanations. But what we're looking to do here is there's an incentive program with LEAP. And if we are able to enter into a shared service agreement with another entity in which we showed that somewhere along the line, that there is going to be a cost savings. There's incentive monies that are out there as reward programs. What I have been discussing, because it is for the public safety of the community, thank you, Judd. It stands for
It's
Local
local efficiency.
Efficiency Achievement Program.
Right.
Okay, Local Efficiency Achievement Program is LEAP. And I have been looking to figure out how we would be able to consolidate yet another service within the community. And one of my biggest pet peeves has always been public safety of our town. And I've gotten it a long time ago. When we have a significant snowstorm or even any snow, the county is very, very inundated in taking care of where the population lies. That being Hamilton Township, Galloway, the heavily populated areas. And because of our population, in the last census that I recall, we were 1,752 people. We're kind of like really low on the totem pole. We have a situation, if council members will recall, back in the year 2010, 2011, we were buried literally with snow. And there seemed to pose a very, very grave public safety concern in the event that, A, somebody's house catches on fire, but Cape May Avenue hasn't been plowed yet, or any of the other outer lying county roads, or B, if someone is in need of ambulatory services. As we know, every minute counts, literally, whether it be that your house is on fire or whether it be that you're dying. So this is an opportunity for both the county to relieve themselves of some of the workload that they have and save some money in getting into a shared service agreement. They have a shared service agreement with Brigantine, Ventnor, Margate, and Longport. Whether council knows it or not, but Ventnor Avenue in the shore community is a county road. Brigantine Boulevard in Brigantine is a county road. And they have entered into shared service agreements with these municipalities over the years, in which those municipalities plow the snow on those particular roads there. Saves the county from having to drive out there to take care of it, while they're busy taking care of the mainland areas. It also serves for the public interest and public safety of those communities that those roads are cleared so that emergency vehicles can in fact get through. With that being said, I am hoping that we can achieve some type of a incentive here with the state, showing that the county is in fact saving money, and Estell Manor is entering into a shared service agreement, and our incentive reward would be possibly, if not likely, because I've already made it clear to Rick Riccadella, who is works with the state and Division of Local Government Services. And I told him specifically what we're looking for. It's no secret, Estell Manor, because of the state ownership of this city, they've knocked our brains out. We basically have no rateable base. We have no revenue source. We are hurting more and more each year. We need an emergency vehicle. We've been talking about this. There's some passionate feelings about it one way or another, but the reality is it's a difficult situation for our town to be able to afford spending money to go out and get a vehicle. If we are successful with this grant application, our city not only will reach the public safety needs of our community, but also we will be rewarded with a dump truck for plowing snow. Frank, I want to turn this over to you at this point here, because if there's anything that I didn't say, or if I didn't say it properly, I trust that you'll definitely be able to emphasize better.
Well, first of all, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. I want to apologize first for not getting out more information sooner. I was put in this position around December, and as Mayor Venezia has said, the program, the LEAP program, is a local efficiency. It's a fancy way of saying a shared service program backed by the state. What's different about this effort, as far as shared services go, in the past, is there is a pot of $10 million that is sitting in the shared services fund for the state, is administered by the Department of Community Affairs, the DCA. The grant that we're talking about here is called the implementation grant. The challenge grant is basically something that has been used trying to figure out if this court system is going to work. I just want to make one thing clear, and I say this to all municipalities. Nobody is forcing anybody to do anything. There is no compelling. Even the countywide court system has to have a critical mass of willing municipalities before it will ever be deemed successful. Mayor Venezia said that, explained everything he just explained here tonight to me, and there is $150,000 that could be used toward any initiative in any municipality. So Estell could get enough money to cover the cost of a vehicle of your choice, which I was told is a dump truck, and the matching plowing equipment that goes onto the truck. That would be at no cost to the taxpayers. I do not believe there is any match on this.
There is, Frank, I understand, I did not to interrupt you, but I understand from Jennifer Blumenthal. She has indicated that there is in fact a 25% match, and Estell Manor is actually going to be applying to get 2 trucks. Hopefully that we can get them both.
Okay, well, I'm not positive about that yet, but in any event, the advantage is tremendous. So if any municipality gets a truck that they want to plow snow, then what's the advantage? Well, the advantage is you enter into a shared services agreement with the county, as was enumerated by these other municipalities that do this, and you put a rate in for time and material. So any costs that would be associated with that, as far as labor goes, or an employee, I believe, as well as whatever is necessary to salt the road, what have you, we cover that cost in the county. That's really as simple as you can get it, and I'll entertain any questions from anyone.
And Frank, I think the only missing component to this here is that what we should do is find out for absolute positive. But I think if we're going to be applying for the grant, we'll know at that point whether there is this 25% matching amount of money that we have to put up or not. We don't have to pay an application fee. That's the good thing. I mean, this is just simply something that we're going to make an attempt to apply for. And if we receive it, we have bases loaded and hit a home run hit. And the worst that could happen is we're told we're not going to get it. And then it just dies at that point there.
And just today, I was informed, I started to say in the beginning, I apologize for not disseminating information. I came on board in the end of December, and my training for this, knowing what lane I'm supposed to stay in, when I talked to municipalities, was supposed to be January the 6th and January the 9th or thereabouts. And the state has had its trouble getting our training together. It's going to be March the 16th. But in lieu of that, I asked questions directly. Rick Cadella is the supervisor in charge of this program, and I will be able to answer that question tomorrow if there's a match. But I will tell you that this thing has now been extended to June the 30th as far as being able to apply for this. The challenge grant deadline was going to be Friday, but this implementation deadline for this grant can go into June. But I will just say this, in my humble suggestion, it's a limited pot of money that's going around to the state. So the sooner you get your application in, I think it would be an advantage.
This is going to be a very competitive grant in which many municipalities, when they find out about it, are going to be jumping on it. And the faster they jump on it, the lesser our chances are by us delaying. Definitively.
So I read over the LEAP grant details. So I just want to make it clear that we are going, if we move forward with this, we compete for that. It doesn't mean that we file the grant and we automatically get it. We're competing for those funds.
There's nothing guaranteed or certain about this now. We are making the application.
Okay. And then, no, I'm sorry. That's it for right now.
Okay.
I will say, Mrs. Owen, just to give you some comfort, I have spoken to a couple different people of some very significant importance. They're aware of that we're going to be applying for this loan. Not loan, we're applying for this grant.
Okay. I like to see stuff in writing. I don't want to hear somebody said whatever. I want to see it in writing.
Well, we won't want anything until we apply.
I will give you the process. You are correct, Councilwoman. This grant is competitive, as all grants usually are. It's no different than any grant. And, but we do have, I would say, they go into a room, they look at what's been applied for, this is the DCA, and, based on the merits of it, which the grant writing has to show that there's a cost-benefit analysis, and in this case, there's an enhanced advantage because of the public safety factor. And then it is largely decided by Rick Riccadella, so as the grant is applied for and it is evaluated, you'll get feedback on that to see if it needs to be tweaked. That's what I've been told. And then, when it's finally submitted in its final form, I think that the competition is there, but I don't think that this is in any way a long shot.
My question too is, part of the grant documents is acquiring other municipalities to agree to go in business with us, as far as, if you want to say, for the shared services. So they have to agree to that, to do that, correct? It can't just be.
That's correct. It has to be at least between two entities. The amount
Someone would need to.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. In this particular case, what people don't understand, including Frank Formica, what I didn't understand about shared services, it doesn't mean that the county comes in and takes over municipality services. It means that a municipality can take over county services and be remunerated for that. In this particular grant, it is specific to Atlantic County and Estell. There's no other partners need to be in here. Now, if you, applying for the grant, I might add, you would be the lead agency in this grant. It isn't the county. So if you wanted to go to Corbin, or you wanted to go to Weymouth or wherever and say, hey, we can do yours too, I'm not saying that's the intent, but that would be something you could do. It was made clear to me that the county does not have to be the lead administrator of the service. The municipality could be the lead administrator of the service.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Very well put, Frank. Does anybody else from council have any questions pertaining to this grant or the aspects of it?
Yes,
Actually, I have another. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
if we do apply for the grant, do you know when we might have an answer to when, we would know if we got it or not?
Well, I can tell you that I thought my training would be in January. It's in March. This is the state of New Jersey. So I will be more than glad to, as the grant goes in, keep you apprised of where it is in the process.
Thank you.
I have some questions,
Yes.
if I may. Mr. Formica, thank you for joining us. Please know that we, as a council, as a sitting council, have not yet contemplated this. We have yet to resolve to make application. For the most part, most members don't know anything about it or know very little about it. So it's good of you to come out and inform us. Please don't assume that we know what you're talking about, because for the most part, we don't. And pursuant to that, I'd like to ask some questions.
Please do.
So as our customer, the county becomes our customer. They're enabling us to, and facilitating our going into this business, if you will, but then they become our customer. Will the county have audit responsibility as it relates to the wages that we pay our operators, or the benefits that we allow our operators, the equipment or capabilities of the equipment that we use, our repair capabilities, the availability of equipment to the extent that, I assume that this is exclusive to emergent equipment used for emergency circumstances, correct?
The answer to that question, I don't fully have, but I can say this. The process by which you write in your grant, whatever you're writing for, is one thing. But then the shared services agreement, which the other towns like Brigantine, Ventnor, and Margate have now, are already there for you to look at. So you could take a look at what is in their agreements, and you could then contemplate yourselves if you need to add a little tweak here or there. I don't think that in any sense, in this particular instance, the dump truck, I don't think would be limited to anything in the grant. It doesn't have to be emergency services. You need a dump truck, you're a municipality, it's your truck, you own it. The county doesn't own the truck or the equipment. So I think that there is a little more latitude than that in the use of it. As far as the maintenance of it goes, I'm sure that you could easily, if you didn't have the facilities like a garage or a heavy equipment garage that you would do, you need to repair it, it's going to be a brand new vehicle. I'm sure you could also make an arrangement with the county, and I may be getting out of my depth a little bit here, to, look at the maintenance or see if it can facilitate the maintenance. But it seems to be a very healthy relationship.
My concern is that, as all of us, I see the trucks that the county uses to plow the county roads. The trucks that we use, the dump trucks that we use to plow our streets are children compared to the trucks that your guys use. So if in fact the county has a specification which requires a certain rating or capacity on the equipment used to plow county roads, we don't meet that now. Neither do our operators meet the requirements of what an operator has to be to drive that truck. So we would have to buy a truck that we haven't owned before and care for it. And we would have to train, pay, and maintain operators that we do not employ right now. If in fact you have to be a CDL driver to drive the truck the county wants used to plow on their roads, we don't have those people in our employ at the moment. There's a lot that we have to learn about this.
There's no requirement of what vehicle do we have to buy. I mean, we've been using a 450 since the beginning of time.
So you know everything about how the county does things or what their requirements would be in a shared services agreement, Mayor? Because Mr. Formica doesn't. How do you know so much?
Because what you're basically generalizing here is that, we're going to be required to do that. And there's nothing mentioned that says that's what we're going to be required to do. In so many words, that's exactly what you said. I picked up on it. And you're generalizing. You're trying to, listen, what we need to do as a council is try to figure out how we can make this work rather than trying to figure out ways of why this isn't going to happen. And I'm going to take that quote from you, Mr. Diligent. You said to Parker McKay a couple years back. We're always trying to find a way of how not to do something. Why don't we find a way of how we can make this work?
Okay. I would say this. I would certainly be more than glad to answer any one of any council's requests and get the answer to satisfy you. There may be a requirement for the equipment based on the county road that I don't know about, but I can tell you tomorrow I'll be with the head of Public Works just for that question, and I'll give a report back to your solicitor and to you directly so that you have the comfort level of these questions. You can ask me any question you want. Before I leave, I'll give you my cell phone number and you can call me on the cell phone. It'd be a nice change from Joe. Just kidding.
Thank you. We would be grateful to know the equipment requirements, the training and experience requirements of the operators, any salary or wage requirements, benefits requirements, maintenance requirements, response times, all those aspects of the agreement.
I'd be more than glad to fill out that checklist and find out what the answers are.
Thank you very much. And thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure.
If you could add one more question to that.
Sure.
So another, after what Mr. Dilch has said, also too, I'm thinking, what if we're not able to fulfill our requirements? So let's just say we do this and say we have 2 public works people and something happens and neither one of them can go to do this. What is the penalty, if you would say, for not being able to fulfill our requirement?
It may be, I perceive it this way. Atlantic County is only as good as its municipalities, okay? And shared services means that we're on a team here. And that's a very good question because you only have 2 employees, and an event happens and one's on vacation and one's sick and you got nobody to drive the truck, what the heck's going to happen to the roads? So that's a very good question. And I will find the answer to that. Greg Brookings is our public works guy. We have 527 vehicles in this county. Shocked me when I found out. And, we have all kinds of situations. So that's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to it, and I will find out. I will make sure there is not going to be any penalty. I can tell you there's not going to be like somebody enforcing the contract every time you do something. We look at it as a shared service, and I think the real pragmatic overview of this is, it is a relief to the county. You know, we have our, I believe, somebody correct me, 377 miles of roads. That's what we have in this county, 377 miles. And it does, start from the heavy populations and go out. So this would be something that I think is an advantage.
And by the way, Frank, we have 2 men that work on our Public Works Department. We also have an emergency management team in which we have a list of people that are able to drive. So they're not full-time employees. They're not even considered part-time employees. They are as needed if the situation arises employees. And we do have an inventory list.
Yeah,
Last I knew, we had about 8 people on that list.
Yeah, but
So
to the
we're not gonna be caught short.
But to the councilman's point, they are county roads, there are liability issues here. I believe that you should have whatever qualifications or, certificates that they need to drive that truck, whether it's, I know in Atlantic County, we have trucks, the brine trucks, you need a special license if you're doing do brine, because it's called a tanker license. And, a lot of our employees screamed bloody murder 7, 8 years ago because they couldn't, when we got the brine trucks or however long it was, because they had to get these certificates. So I'm glad you got some people qualified that aren't employees, but every one of them is going to have to meet that requirement for the liability issues. And we'll find out what they are.
And Frank, just to satisfy that curiosity, we do have Mr. Cornu, who's our immediate past emergency management coordinator, and he has definitely given training lessons to any of these drivers. Now we have a new director, and that is Mr. Jay Repko, and I can assure you that Mr. Repko will take the time to make sure that any people that will be driving vehicles will go through some type of a safety course to make sure that they follow all protocol and safety procedures.
Well, that's great,
and we will take care of that.
That's great, Mayor, but I still want to make sure with Greg Brookings that there aren't some certificates that you may not have, that you may have to apply for, so everybody's not in a non-libelous situation. That's the way
And I'm sure Randy will
brakes,
work all that out.
I think Mr. Formica has a hard stop at 8:10.
Well, I'm going to extend it just for you, Randy. Any other questions? I'm going to give you my cell phone number. It's 609-839-3904. And you can, I'm letting 5 people have it. You're amongst the privileged 6,000 that do.
We just gave it out to the whole world because we're now live.
That's
We're
fine.
not closed
That's
session.
fine. So, we have Council President Elizabeth Owen, right?
Yes.
And Councilman Nelson Dill.
Dilge.
Thank you. And Matt Olson, Councilman Matt Olson, right? And Councilwoman Julia Sparks and Mr. Mayor, right? And Kenny, what are you doing over there?
I've had your number for a while.
Yes, I know that. Any other questions?
Frank, I think you covered all the bases for us. So now let's just hit the home run hit and make this work.
And here is my vested interest. I mean, I took this job, to do a good job. And so if this is successful, it makes me look a little bit better than the radio says. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Moving down the line here, we have.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, before we go any further, I just want to state in the issue for everyone's time that we should watch our time, so we should be done by 9:30, so we can go into closed session again, so we can finish up by 10.
I'm aware of that. Thank you for your brow.
Does that mean we have to be done by 9 for open to public?
Listen, let's just move the meeting along here, please.
Like 9:15, yes.
We have Mr. Ken Hazer. I don't want to hold you up, Ken. So you are here tonight, I believe, for a reason. I think, Judd, did you ask him to come onto the meeting or?
No.
No. Is there any specific Ken, is there any specific reason why you're, onto the meeting tonight, or just out of
Yeah.
curiosity?
Being a friendly, nosy neighbor.
Gotcha, okay. Moving down the line here then, thank you, Mayor Hazer. We have, the bill list. We have the bill list that we're gonna go through. Does anybody have any questions